This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
This is absolute tosh.
Well, let's get back to it.
Arctic conditions are sweeping across Britain, bringing lows of minus 2.8 degrees Celsius. Forecasters have warned of bitterly cold conditions in some parts, and I sincerely hope that your parts remain unaffected.
Yes.
Oh, that's not right. That's not in the right place. It's changed. Oh, no. My favourite thing has gone. That means I'm going to have to do work to put it back again. Damn it! Never mind, you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
The cold snap could see temperatures drop to minus 4 Celsius this weekend. And you multiply by 9 and divide by 5 and add 32 to get European surrender temperatures to change to Her Majesty's British Fahrenheit. So 4 times 9 is, ignore the minus, and 4 nines are 94, and you divide 94 by 5 is 25, and 25 plus 32 is 68. Wow! It's going to be 68 degrees Fahrenheit this weekend. Can you believe that?
No.
The Met Office issued an ice warning this morning, covering Western Scotland and Northern Ireland, which has said cold and showery conditions brought by northwesterly winds will lead to icy patches. And if you did not hear that this morning, then you've either come through unscathed or you're listening in hospital with your leg in a plaster.
Stop whining.
Earlier in this week, it was very mild, almost spring-like. That was in the south anyway, but the Met Office meteorologist spokesmodel Claire said that the UK will be bathed in colder, cleaner air from this moment on. There could be a transient spell of sleet and snow. Snow?
Oh, no.
She said wintry over higher ground, some snow at lower levels across or along the coast. A mix of rain and hail with the risk of thunder, lightning, very, very frightening. This evening, mostly dry. Showers will continue in the north and the west, particularly in the northwest, I bet. Not just in the north and the west, but in the northwest specifically. Checking while you wait. Aha! This is Glasgow. Raining tonight and raining tomorrow, and raining on Sunday, and raining on Monday, and raining on Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday, and raining on Thursday, and what? Not raining on Friday? Pfft, rubbish. And then raining next Saturday, and raining on Sunday, and raining on Monday, and raining on Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday, and raining on Thursday. Basically, it's raining every single day.
Affirmative.
For the rest of your life. I must get back my ding. I mean, I've got this, but that's not the same. I mean, that does indicate a certain degree of correctness, but not the same as my ding. I'll have to get that back. I bet my glamorous assistant is working on it as I speak.
Oh, hard at work.
Hard at work, doing something else. Trying to tune in classic FM. I know it's relaxing, but we're trying to do a job here. Mostly dry this evening. Showers will continue in the north and the west, particularly in the northwest, which I've just checked for you. Completely correct in every respect. Tomorrow, milder air slowly wafts across more northern areas with... That's what she said. That's what she said. An actual real-life meteorologist used the word waft. Can you believe that?
No.
Tomorrow, milder air slowly wafts across more northern areas with more... The only time I can remember using the word waft correctly is if who smelt it dealt it. Tomorrow, mildly air slowly wafts across more northern areas with more... and you don't... now it sounds awful, doesn't it?
Disgusting.
Now I've described it in those terms. Silent but deadly. Have you heard? Tomorrow, milder air slowly wafts across more northern areas with more cloud and outbreaks of rain wafting down towards the south on Sunday. It's all about wafting this weekend. Wafting is good. And if you say wafting 10 times, it's one of those words that loses its meaning and just sounds weird. Try it. But not now, later. Tomorrow there'll be some early bright or sunny spells across the southern and central England, but showers in the north of England, the Wales and the Midlands, wherever that is. Rain may be wintry again across Scotland land. All over you it will be. Sunday will be dull, like every Sunday I can remember in the 1970s. A damp day with cloudy skies and outbreaks of rain and wintry. Would you like to hear the long-range weather forecast for the next month?
No.
Okay, this is up to the 17th of February. In the south, cloudy with some rain. In the north, colder, clearer, some wintry showers. Windy throughout with gales in the north and lighter winds in the south. I bet they'll be wafting.
Oh, right, yeah.
Then unsettled for much of the UK with heavy rain, stronger winds and a whisk of wintry precipitation in the north. It's a whisk. The south, drier but still cloudy, milder for many. That's up until the 17th of February. Now, the following 2 weeks take us to the 5th of March. Now, you think that you get to the 5th of March and you haven't really suffered under, winter's cold, dead hand, then we're pretty much free. And it's spring all the way. Well, let's see, shall we? From the 19th, Saturday, 19th of February, a threat of further storms across the north, interspersed with colder interludes. Temperatures near average in the north with rain and strong winds and brief colder spells. The south is expected to be milder and drier with more settled conditions overall. Milder and drier with more settled conditions overall? We'll take it. 0345 6060 973. Here is a suspiciously keen caller in Hull. Charles.
Oh, hi, mate. Good to be on your show once more.
Is it?
It's regarding the Prime Minister's comments this week, you know.
Which ones?
Savile was mentioned. He even tried to say that Her Majesty's opposition bench were all on drugs.
I must have missed that. What was that?
He just suddenly I think he really did lose the plot. He just suddenly said the drugs are being taken by the opposition side. And he was pointing to
because
the opposition.
well, if that's the case, then they found them lying around in his suite of offices.
This Prime Minister, he's floundering in a bottomless pit of manure.
Well, that's a beautiful picture that you paint there. Awful. A bottomless pit of manure. Now, if it was a pit of manure that actually had a bottom, that would be bad enough, depending on how far you've sunk into it. I mean, if it's up to your eyeballs, then that's pretty bad. But if it's a bottomless pit... Ew.
That's a lot of wafting, vigorous wafting needed.
Yeah, no joke, yeah.
And I mean, let's face it. I mean, he's a walking. He's disaster personified.
Yeah. Well, we knew what we were voting for, eh, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah. It's our fault. Specifically, Charles, I bet
and on.
Yeah, much like yourself. I know exactly what you mean, Charles. I'm experiencing that right now, as a matter of fact. On and on and on. What?
Yeah, David Davis said that he's going to suffer the death of 1,000 tots. Do you remember in Carry On Up the Khyber?
No. And that's probably illegal to even bring that up in conversation. Can't do that. Mustafa what now? Thanks, Charles. 0345 6060 973. I bet my glamorous assistant's got no idea what I'm talking about. Way before your time, right?
Yes.
Yes, see? I can't smear him with this material. Mustafa what now? Jack emails, on your podcast with Carol McGiffin, you mentioned Wordle and the premise of how it works. If you get the Wordle in the right order, do you get extra points? I don't know. Let's ask an expert.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Extra points for getting it in order.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Yeah, I know. I just said that. Is he crazy or is it just the way he acts?
Is he crazy or is that just the way he acts?
Tim emails, I'm a Boris fan. Oh, come off it, Tim. He's not a singer. A fan? But I admit he now needs to go, says Tim, who's just woken up from his Kool-Aid dream. It's... oh, okay, I should have read ahead. Then I could have just deleted the entire thing without bothering you with it. You want to know what the rest of it is? Okay, from the top. Get ready. Grip onto something firm. You're not going to like it. Tim emails, I am a Boris fan, but I admit he now needs to go. It's time for Jacob Rees-Mogg to come in.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
That guy. That 6-foot pile of tics and affectations. That guy. Please. Are you joking?
I don't know anything.
One more time.
I don't know anything.
One more for just giggles.
I don't know anything.
Painful. Yeah, I mean, this is what we need to be really concerned about. I mean, if we do actually achieve the momentous, I can't think of another word, but achievement. If we achieve the momentous achievement, hey, I got my ding back. And actually heave him ho. Who's going to replace him? I mean, there's a couple of people that I think there might be. Well, there's one particular person that I'm thinking of right now. I mean, can you imagine? Painful. I mean, all of the people that surround him, you would have to assume, hope, not assume. Do not assume the best when it comes to the regime. But you would have to hope that the Conservative Party, or what's left of the fabric, if there is indeed any left of what used to be the Conservative Party, if they actually pull in somebody from outside the regime, then that would be better than just appointing somebody from within. This is the reason that none of those cabinet people, the people in the cabinet, this is the reason that they all want to desperately cling on to his imperial bodginess, is because they know in their hearts that nobody else would give him a job. Doing anything. The ministerial car would be gone in a puff of smoke if anybody else was in number 10. None of them would get the job that they have become accustomed to. That's why they don't want him to go, because they're frightened of what might happen next. Every single one of them is going to get a letter. It'll be just 2 words.
Bye-bye.
0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
I enjoy working with people.
Says Boris Johnson, as the last person that wants to work with him leaves, waving him a cheery bye-bye. Is there anybody left? John says Boris Johnson isn't going to change. He can make all the promises he wants. He'll be exactly the same. Yeah, of course. Well, we knew who he was when we elected him to the top spot. Don't pretend otherwise. He was the funny bloke off the telly. And we knew everything we needed to know about him, but we went ahead and voted for him anyway. And by we, I mean, just enough people to actually get the job done. He wasn't a stranger to us. We've been seeing him for decades. He's been around forever. And you got ministers going on TV now saying, "Oh well, this is just Boris being Boris." We knew it was all baked in and blah blah blah. As though that would work in any other field of life. Oh yes, the boss of this company is an absolute catastrophe. Has driven this firm into a ditch. But we knew what we were getting when we appointed him, so we're stuck with him. Forever. Nigel tweets, "Thank goodness you're back. We've been in a really dark place all week. We can't afford to put the lights on." Oh, listeners with material. Oh no. 0345 6060 973. Brighton. Hello, John.
Hello, Nick.
Oh,
yeah.
hello, mate.
Want to score some pot?
Yes. I mean,
what? I hope you're going to help us and save us from all this. What's going on,
right.
Nick?
That's what I'll do.
It's like, what is actually going on with this government?
I have no idea. I don't think anybody has it anymore.
You got an energy crisis that's been coming down the tracks for months.
Decades.
For
decades.
They've announced what's happening yesterday about the price cap. That's going to absolutely crucify people.
Well, not literally.
Well, it's going to hit a lot of people very badly, I think. And like Dean Dunham has said in the previous previous program,
Mm-hmm.
is the support package is nowhere near up to the job of helping people.
Well, he takes fishy Sunak takes with one hand as he gives a small amount of what he's taken back with the other, but he wants you to concentrate on the small amount that he's giving back.
Yeah, and it's I think they're saying it's going to be in October. Well, I mean that's 6 months down the line.
What's going to be in October?
Well,
that's when the money's going to come in, honey.
Rebate or whatever the loans they're giving out to people.
Yeah, it's not a rebate. It's a small amount of your money that you're going to have to pay back anyway.
But it's just complete chaos. It's just you got these crises that are hitting people, and you've got the problems with the government and Boris Johnson completely overshadowing it. It's crazy.
Right. Well, there's nothing we can do, John. We're stuck with it.
Yeah. Well, I hope you can help and save us.
No, don't accept that there is nothing you can do and we're going to have to stick with it. Do not ever think that. I mean, people in America, before they chucked you-know-who out on his ear...
Oh, shut up!
They thought, well, there's nothing we can do because he's going to fix the next election, and these morons with the guns, the dingalings, they've just taken over, so there's nothing we can do. Well, there is something you can do, and they managed to defenestrate him. They managed to find a window big enough to squeeze Donny out of. If you can believe that.
Well, they need to renationalise the energy companies, I think.
Well, what kind of a stupid moron would sell our energy companies? The same kind of stupid moron that would sell our water. I'll say it again, if they could have sold our air for a cheap profit... a quick, cheap profit, then they'd have done it already. Thanks a lot, John. Best of luck, mate. You're going to need it. I think if Priti Patel gets her way, pretty much everybody in Brighton specifically is going to be in jail. Llama tweets. Llama? Okay then. Says, have you, like me, spent the week furiously refreshing Twitter to see A, who has resigned, B, who has debased themselves for the bodge, and C, whether Nadine Dorris is still capable of standing up? Still capable of standing up.
Booze.
It did look like she was standing on a Bosu ball when she was being interviewed. Really bizarre. She looked like a weeble. You remember weebles wobble, but they don't fall down? 0345 6060 973. Rotherham. Hello, Carl.
Okay. Oh, hi. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, a couple of things. Three things. I don't normally listen to you on a night time because I'm normally in bed.
Me either.
However, I've listened to you tonight, and my dismay is that you're
enormous. Approximately how big is your dismay in inches?
In inches?
Yes.
Oh no, you couldn't quantify.
Couldn't quantify it in inches. Not big enough a measurement. No. So let's say in the measurements of the size of Wales, approximately how many whales are we talking about?
Well, Wales is a service in
itself. It's a very big place. Yeah. It's got sheep and mountains. And it's got scenery up to your eyeballs.
Comments on Jacob Rees-Mogg. I have found Jacob Rees-Mogg to be a fine politician.
In what way? In what way?
In the past couple of years I've been following him. In his conduct, to be honest,
his conduct. What do you mean by that?
I think Jacob Rees-Mogg can speak to the majority of the public.
In what way? You keep saying these vague things about him, but you don't back any of them up. What is it about him as a politician that you like? What has he done politically that appeals to you so?
I think you could ask that of any politician, what have they done?
No, you are defending him. You specifically called me to defend him, so go on.
I did, because Jacob Rees-Mogg, I've seen him in universities, being questioned by, the liberal, the far right, far left.
Mm-hmm.
And
what did he say what did he say that impressed you so?
He knows how to speak to all ilks of people.
Ilks.
And he can get them on side. He knows how to communicate with them.
Well, he certainly cannot get them on side. He cannot get all people on side. A vanishingly few number of people, Carl, who have been trained well enough to doff their caps every time they hear somebody with a supercilious posh accent.
I don't think it's supercilious at all. I think it's
Oh
his
my
general
God,
character.
look up supercilious in the dictionary and there's a picture of him there.
Right, so somebody said, I know, I'll create supercilious to mean Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that's who the man is.
That is who the man is. He's the very definition of superciliousness.
He's not.
His superior,
he's not.
condescending attitude.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
And using a sort of etoliated politeness as a weapon. That and their blooming religion. As though anything that he says or does would be in Jesus' good books.
I'm a scientist. I will agree with
You're
you
a
on religion.
scientist.
Absolutely, sir, yes.
Well, what's that got to do with it? What's your...
Therefore, his views on religion disagree with my views on
what's your
religion.
field of science?
Physics. Theoretical physics.
You're a theoretical physicist.
I am, sir.
Okay. Where do you practice your theoretical
I'm sorry
physics?
That's amusing to
Well,
you.
it is. I don't believe I've ever spoken to anybody
who
who actually makes money as a theoretical physicist. Where do you work?
I'm actually a teacher of theoretical physics.
You're a teacher of theoretical physics.
I am.
Right. Okay. Well, you're not explaining yourself very well as a teacher, but I guess if it's theoretical physics you're imparting to your students, then I suppose you don't really have to be very logical because it's all about, I don't really know what it is. It's just stories you're making up, theoretical physics. Not actual physics, like fairy stories, you mean. It's like, what is the universe? And like, if it's so big, like, what's it in? Stuff like that.
I don't think it is, but my point was...
You don't think it is?
Know, I think you berated Jacob Rees-Mogg a
Yes,
bit
I
too
did.
harshly.
I was just under the requisite level of harshness as far as Jacob Rees-Mogg is concerned. You know, his fans just blow me away, and every single one of them tries to define what it is that they like about him, and I can tell you what they like about him. It's because it feeds into their yearning urge to genuflect before those what talk posh. It's ingrained so deeply in us, we just can't help ourselves. Some daft aristo who has never had to lift a finger in their lives, has been given their entire life on a plate, will just whinny on in that ninnying fashion of theirs. And people just go... and we'll assume that everything they say is as though delivered by God. I'll ask you one more time, Carl. What is it about Mogg as a politician, rather than his affected manner, that speaks to you so?
I agree with some of these principles.
Like
I
what?
agree with conservatism and...
Like what? Name one.
I can't just name
You
one.
can't?
You know.
Okay, well then that's pointless. Why did you call? You called to defend a man you don't know anything about, other than he talks posh. Excruciating, Carl. And that's not a theory. Randy texts, Nick, I asked a gardener today what was best to feed the roses. He said nitrogen. Is that all I asked? Well, he said, it's an element. Well, he said, it's an element. That's just awful, Randy. I was hoping for better after that last excruciating call. I'll try one more. Shall I try one more? Edward texts, earlier on, Eddie Mayer asked, what does Boris Johnson need to change? Going by Bodger's history, I suggest the only thing he is likely to Okay, this is better. It is another person with material, but, you know, on this occasion, and only this occasion, will I let this one go. From the top. Edward texts, earlier on, Eddie Mayer asked, what does Boris Johnson need to change? Going by Bodger's history, I suggest the only thing he's likely to change is his wife. Good one, Edward. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's just past 10:30. The news headlines with Zora Sullivan.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I'm taking you off the air. I think you're having a breakdown.
Well, I hope that's what this is. There was a survey done. Survey says everybody hates the Conservative Party. It only took 11 years. 11 years. Actually, it took 2 short years. The previous incarnation of the Conservative Party, people didn't seem to be that bothered about. But this, 2 short years to turn hundreds of years up on its head. Which party do you trust the most to do the following? It was 2,000 people who expressed a preference on the 31st of January, a couple of days ago. Every single one of these is won by the Labour Party. All of them. Every single one. Which political party do you trust most to do the following? Support the NHS? Labour gets double the number of people that said the Conservatives. Tackle poverty? Over double for Labour. Manage housing? Double. Double the number of people who thought that the Labour Party would be better at managing housing than the Conservative Party. Double. 39% for Labour. Support the educational system? 38 to 22 for Labour. Manage the economy? 34 to 29. Okay, it's narrowed a bit, but that's usually the one where people think, oh, well, yeah, money. We love money, honey. And the Conservatives seem to, bizarrely, have a reputation for being good with the nation's finances. I think they've managed to inculcate that belief in the general population through hypnosis. Tackle crime. There's another one. It's supposed to be the party of law and order, even though law and order is utterly, completely and totally broken down under their watch. It might be because we have 20,000 fewer police persons and 30,000 fewer police support staff, and half of the police stations got closed and half of the magistrates' courts got sold off, and legal aid has become impossibly hard to get. But apart from that, they're the party of law and order. Even that message has got through. How about this? Pretty much the only thing that they can say that they've scored a success with over the last 2 years, under the munificent leadership of the dear Bodge, is the vaccine rollout. They keep going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about the vaccine rollout, as though that covers up for all of their various crimes and misdemeanours. The only reason that the vaccine rollout was as successful as it was is because it's the only thing that they got out of the way of and let the actual professionals do. But even on that measure, which party do you trust to respond to the coronavirus? Even on that, Labour wins now. It's all going terribly wrong. Bodge. I wonder whose fault that is. Handle immigration. I can't believe it. More people think that the Labour Party would be better at handling immigration than the Tories. Manage foreign affairs. 31% say Labour, 28% say the Conservatives. And that's as close as they get on this measure, all of these questions. To protect the environment, Labour on 25, the Conservatives on 17. But the one party that does win that by a landslide are the Greenies.
Groovy.
30%. 30% say that the Greenies would be better at protecting the environment than any other party. But as that is pretty much the only thing that anybody knows about the Greenies, that's not too surprising. So I am stunned. Every single measure. I can't believe it. And if you had asked people maybe a month ago, 2 months before all this, having a party, before all of that came out, I bet every single one of those would have been reversed. Oh, he's doing his best. Leave him alone. Would have been the refrain of the day. Tom tweets, now that the Winter Olympics have started, I expect we'll all see a lot of snowflakes around. I can't wait till Snowboard Cross. That's the bit where 5 people all fall down a mountain at the same time with their feet strapped to a tea tray while fighting. It's great. It really is. I mean, it can be the most exciting thing you've ever seen. It's like a fairground ride that other people are on, and only some people will survive. Place your bets. Bet nah, bet nah, bet nah. Paul tweets, only a few weeks ago, Mr. Johnson was telling us we're all becoming a high-wage economy. Today we're being told not to ask for wage rises. Yeah, by a guy who earns £500,000 a year.
What?
Plus the pension, I bet. Plus the free house, I bet. Plus the gym membership and the medical insurance and the on and on and on. I bet somebody goes around paid for by us to plump his cushions. Paul says, only a few weeks ago, Mr. Johnson was telling us all that we've become a high-wage economy. Today we're being told not to ask for wage rises. Those two things aren't compatible, which leaves me thinking it was just more gaslighting from Bodger. Gaslighting, Bodge. Explain yourself. Yes. Go on. Cytex, do you have any tips to fend off the waft? Should I wear my anti-waft regalia? Must try harder. Sigh. Colchester. Hello, Rob.
Oh, hello.
Rob.
I didn't expect you. Hi.
Shall I put you on hold?
No. The point I want to make, Nick, is, we're all very frustrated with what's going on. To the average person like me out there, the only way I can protest and do it legitimately and politely is to write to my local Conservative MP, which I do periodically. And yeah, I do. And I'm just so frustrated. And I agree with everything that you've just said, by the way. And what do we do? What can we do in this situation where we have a Prime Minister who's devalued, debased his position? I feel so frustrated that I can't do anything, but the only thing I can do is email my anger and my protestations to my local Conservative MP.
Yeah, I very much doubt that your Conservative local MP, whoever that might be, is actually going to read your emails. He'll probably have a person do it for him.
Well, no, I've got reply and my...
Yeah, but it isn't necessarily from his or her hand.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that for sure. But I think the more people do that, because am I to believe that it's kind of fed forward to somebody somewhere in a department? Do our emails mean anything?
Yeah, I'm sure they print them out on a piece of paper and then feed them through a shredder.
No, I was promised my email was forwarded to...
Oh, sure. Yeah, yours and the 10,000 others of complaint that they got that day.
Oh, well, that's not good. That's another lie then, isn't it?
Well, I don't know that that's the case, but I would very much doubt that the MP was forwarded, or actually reads his or her emails as they come up. They'll have somebody else check them for him or her.
Okay.
And then they will probably reply personally if you are slathering them with praise, like creosoting them with approval. Otherwise, probably not.
Well, I'm sending them anyway, and hopefully that they'll make a difference, but I doubt it.
Well, it'll probably make a difference to your life. If Priti Patel gets her way, she'll come around and correct you personally. All right, thanks a lot, Rob. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, better get your protesting in at the moment, like right now, immediately, because pretty soon you won't be allowed to. Yeah, but nothing to be alarmed about. It's just a coup, that's all. Marion texts, am I the only person who is finding the use of the word egregious by so many people on TV and radio over and over again really annoying? I'll be brave enough to phone you one day, says Marion. Egregious? I can't say that I've actually heard it. Egregious? Who's using egregious and in what context? Are they talking about you, Bodge? Yes. But the thing that really gets my goat, and I've got no idea where that phrase comes from, it gets my goat is when they say, oh, the Prime Minister or this or that has been very clear about this. And then they say something that's not true. The Prime Minister has been very clear that the sun rises in the west. He's been very clear about that. You know, as though that makes it true. I bet my glamorous assistant is just checking whether the sun does in fact rise in the west. I believe it does. And even if it doesn't prevent it from being a fact. Liz texts, I'm currently listening to The Whole Show podcast from Saturday the 29th of January because I need to save on my fuel and bills in order to eat. And obviously with the news and the ads stripped out, it's cheaper to listen to. That's correct. We do a podcast of this show on Friday and Saturday nights. We take the news and the ads out, which, as Liz quite correctly states, means that it takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and you won't have to sell a kidney to pay your fuel bill.
Correct.
She says, I just wanted to refer you back to those worm things with... Oh, really? It wasn't bad enough that we had to go through that at the time. Now you're bringing it up again. Thanks a lot, Liz. She says, I just wanted to refer you back to those worm things with aqueous anuses.
Disgusting.
It's a thing I can never unsee, but when you asked your assistant to remove the image from your screen, you said thank you in a voice which sort of broke a little, and I think you sounded like Thatcher. I think that's pronounced Thatcher, or at least it is to anybody who went to university in the late 70s, 80s. I deny it. It was not me. But thanks a lot, Liz, for that whole, aqueous anuses thing. What a way to run a show, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hang about, Nick. Listen. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this, Nick, right?
Let's take a call from John O'Groats. Christian.
Hello, Nick. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks. You are at the very edge of the country. Don't make any sudden moves. You might fall off the end.
Not far wrong.
So, what's up, Christian?
Oh, yeah. Well, I find out about. I've been on hold for a little while, but there's more when you're chatting to that fellow about Jacob Rees-Mogg. That's why I phoned in. But like I say, subjects have changed a little bit since then, I guess. But just I'm with you, mate. I just do not understand how certain people can engage with that fella. It's beyond me.
It's like Pavlov's dogs. We have been trained through generations to genuflect before those what talk posh, and I think that's the end of it.
Well, you say we, Nick. You haven't, and I haven't.
Well, no, I think all of us. It's ingrained. It's just with some people, you fight against it.
Yeah, that's fair play. But then, why do you not, and I not, and other people do?
But you know what? I bet if in the right circumstance we would. I bet if we were in,
potentially,
in like a place of, I can't really think of where it might be, but in peril or in, a place where we weren't familiar or comfortable. If somebody, gave it all of that, we would probably accord them more attention than we would if somebody was like talking like that.
Potentially, mate. I don't think that's the case for you. I don't think that's the case for me. That's
Well, we are unique and special people,
I don't
Christian.
Understand
Hold on to that thought at all costs. All right. Well, thanks a lot, mate. Appreciate it. 0345 6060 973. We have to get over that that sort of bowing, sort of instinctual kneeling before those that are who present themselves as superior. Because they do. I mean, we must look like ants to them. And they've been brought up that way their entire life by their families and the school they went to. Ugh, that school they went to. No! Just ingrains it in them. You are superior. You are born to lead. How's that working out for us, by the way?
Dreadful.
Haley texts, I watched Don't Look Up. Seriously, was that a documentary? We are a stupid species, says Haley. I say bring on the comet. Perhaps the Great Reset is what's needed. Cheers, my dear, says Haley. Yeah, I thoroughly recommend that you watch Don't Look Up. It's very, very good. It's the same idea as Idiocracy, but it's a smarter film with bigger stars, and they've spent more money on it. But watch both of them. You could take them as a comedy about the future or a documentary about the present. James texts, did you see the video that went viral last week of an old interview with the Bodge wherein he talks about his newfangled tactic for bombarding the media with so many gaffes that they can't keep up? What an oozing slug of a person he is. Wow. What an oozing slug of a person he is, says James. Well, you may think that, James. I couldn't possibly comment. But yes, and I did see it. And it's not the first time I've seen it either. And neither do you really need to see that video to tell what the plan is here. The plan is to go full Trump.
Oh, shut up!
I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it until they stop doing it. Every single thing that this government does, that Bodge in particular does, is what would Donald Trump do? Donald Trump would pepper you with so many lies that you're trying to refute the first one, and you're busy looking up some statistic in order to fire back at him. But over your head, he's been peppering you with another 20. So you can never keep up. And they just keep coming out with it over and over and over again. I mean, it's and they all say the same thing. So the email has gone around, and every hapless minister that is still affecting to defend his imperial bodgeness, they'll go out and say the same thing. We have the fastest growing economy. We've got more people in work than ever. Our trade deals are benefiting the country more than you could possibly imagine. Even the national insurance rise they're lying about. They say it's going to increase by 1.25%. Well, it's a pretty cute way of putting it. Doesn't sound very much, does it? Oh, it's only going to increase by 1.25%. Big deal. But it's not increasing by 1.25%. It's an increase of 1.25%. If it was only increasing by 1.25%, then no big deal. We could all relax. But it isn't. It's an increase of 1.25%. So it was 12%. It's going to be 13.25%, which is not an increase of 1.25%. It's an increase of 10%. So they're lying about that. Economic inequality, they say it's falling. That's a lie. Crime falling. That's a lie too. And then they just keep coming out with the same things. Oh, well, we're going to build 40 new hospitals. And the interviewer will say, well, you don't mean 40 new hospitals, do you? And the answer will be, we're building 40 new hospitals. They have, I think the only requirement to be in the cabinet is to have no shame. I don't know where they pull it out from. Maybe it's from their back teeth. Maybe they go to the dentist to get it removed under general anaesthetic. Their shame. As long as you can have, you can approach the day's business with zero shame, then you're fine. You're home free. You can say anything at all with a straight face, and regardless of what information comes back at you to refute what it is you just said, all you need to do is just repeat it. And their cult fans do a little happy clappy dance, and the time is up on their interview because they only get a certain amount, and they can just waft off to another appointment. God, it's excruciating. When is this pain ever going to end? Still, it gives you a lot to talk about, though, eh? It's not got boring yet. There's a story in the Mirror tomorrow. I'll get to that in a minute. Front page. Another one. Angela emails, meanwhile, Nick, you made me laugh a lot because you're so right about every Sunday in the 1970s being dull. Hands up anybody that remembers a Sunday in the 1970s? Remember what it was like?
Boring.
Oh, so boring. I mean, you just watch the clock tick slowly by, desperate for it to be Monday so you could go to school again. 2 television stations, kids.
What?
2. No internet. No mobile phones. We had books. You remember books, don't you?
No.
And that was it. Comics and crayons, which tasted awful. Angela says, the days in the Sundays in the 1970s, days when there was only one shop open, and it wasn't rare to go to said shop and buy just one slice of bacon. Do you remember? Says Angela. One slice. Wow, what did they do with the rest of the pig? They just threw it away. And there wasn't a shop open on Sundays. No shops were open on Sundays. And the pubs shut at 2 o'clock. What? And not in the morning either. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. And you tell the kids today about Sundays in the 1970s, and they won't believe you.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello.
Everything is going extremely well.
You bet your life it is. Just checking my numbers. Do you have to actually buy a ticket to win the Euro Millions, or can they just take it on faith that you knew what numbers you were going to buy? Tom texts, just wondering if there's any politician you thought were good. Please let me know. I certainly will do that, Tom. Just as soon as an idea occurs to me. You'll be the first to know. Narberth. Hello, Jimmy.
Hello, Nate. How you doing? You're quite on form tonight, I tell you.
Whoa, what was that noise?
Oh, that's my hound. Shut up, dog. Do you know, when I watch the news or some current affairs program about the political life and what's happening, I honestly feel like I'm watching a damn comedy.
Yes, an unfunny comedy.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I think I have about the same opinion as you do about Boris.
Yeah.
But I will be grateful to him for one thing.
Leaving.
He is going to be the man who is responsible for breaking up the United Kingdom.
Oh.
Yeah. Scotland are going, and once the stupid Welsh people wake up, we'll go too. I've heard Mark Drakeford saying that we've returned a majority of Labour MPs for over half a century, but we still have to tolerate Whitehall. And the whole thing has become a cruel farce. And the philosophy of those who think that the running of things must be left to the rich and the powerful is about to crumble.
Well, it's about blooming time, but I sort of doubt it, because some other Etonian posho is going to come along, and they'll with clipped vowels and a decent vocabulary, and will fall under their sway.
Well, it depends who is going to debate against them. Whether it's a Cockney accent or a Geordie accent or a Scouse accent or a Welsh accent, who'll put them in their place.
Yeah, the problem with that is, though, that, and there's no real justification for it, but without thinking about it, you instinctively feel that somebody with a strong accent is not as intelligent as somebody who talks like that. There's just nothing you can do about it. Even though you know that's not necessarily true, that's your instinctual reaction.
But the people can be educated slowly, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with our education system. But
I don't know what's wrong with your hound. It seems to be barking its face off. Did you actually call it? Did you actually tell it to shut up, dog? Is that what? Hang on a minute. Is that what you call your dog? Dog? Is that his name?
Yeah.
That lacks imagination, Jimmy.
He's what?
Couldn't you think of another name for your dog other than dog?
Oh, he's called Ziggy.
Oh, right.
He's
Does he play guitar?
Stuffy with a bit of something else in them.
Oh. Well,
like the human race.
A little bit too much information there, but Ziggy.
The more you mix the breed, any old farmer will tell you if his cow down calving, we need to change the bull. And, the British aristocracy, there's been a lot of inbreeding there. And it needs to be sorted out, mate.
OK, leave it with me. A little less bull. All right, thanks a lot, Jimmy. 0345 6060 973. There's his dog Ziggy with Weird and Gilly. And the spiders from Mars.
Rock and roll!
Angela texts, the Met commander said they received 300 photographs about a ream and a half of paper. How much is a ream? It sounds like a lot. I'm not even sure I can say that. Can you say ream on the radio?
Ream.
Yes. Kevin emails, maybe all the Boris fans should work together to waft him out of it. And Jenny says, how's your tooth? Ugh. Well, I had root canal treatment again. What? Again, twice now. And it hurts more the second time than it did the first time. I'm in great pain, but you know me, I never complain.
Stop whining.
So I'm going to have to get it out now, and I've got 2 weeks to wait. Ow, so hurty.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
I've got 2 weeks to wait with this painful face. I've got face ache. You believe that? And he's going to... Oh, God. When is it ever going to end? I'm sure that in 5 years he'll show up at my house and go, how's it working out for you? Here's another bill. 0345 6060 973. Ulverston. Pete.
Hello, Nick.
Pete.
How are you?
Great, mate.
Good. I've just had occasion to eject an oozing slug out of my kitchen. I didn't have the heart to stomp on it.
Oh, not in your kitchen? The mess.
No, it was raining outside, so I just got him on a bit of card and flicked it.
Flick him out, exactly.
Flicked it out, yeah. They keep coming in, especially when it's raining.
Well, I've never experienced a slug in my kitchen.
Yeah, they I don't know what it is about them up here. They just like to come in people's houses.
There's a slug in my kitchen. What am I going to do?
Yeah, and some of them are about 3 inches long.
Oh.
This was a baby one.
A baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took pity on it.
You know, in other countries, they have...
They start climbing up the walls.
Yeah, in other countries, they have spiders the size of dinner plates that will actually bite your face off.
Yeah.
And that's all we have to worry about is a slug and the odd housefly. Yeah, we're very, very lucky in that regard.
We are. It was just your earlier caller come out with that oozing slug.
Yeah, nasty.
Describing Boris.
And it put you in mind of your kitchen.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to have to do something about it. Anyway, I switched the TV on this afternoon and to see what the weather was going to do.
Yeah.
And I thought, my dreams have come true.
What?
As there was all these people waving flags and jumping up and down, and I thought Bodger had been ejected from number 10.
Sadly not.
No, I was watching the
Olympics
ceremony of the Olympics.
How was it?
I don't know. I didn't have it on for very long.
Oh, okay. So bad then.
Yes. It was people just walking around in circles.
Right. Well, that sounds dull.
Yeah, and other people jumping up and down waving, some waving much more eagerly than others.
Yes, and the ones that aren't waving very eagerly, they will know all about it shortly.
They would, yes. The other thing I wanted to tell you. I'd like to put out a warning to the good people of Blackpool to keep well away from their trams, because Barger was up there and he was in the cab of one
Oh, my
of them.
God, he's pretending to be a tram driver now?
Yes, that's the latest. Yes, yes.
Those trams are
And
going
not
to
only
jump
that-
the rails.
Yes. He'll be going the wrong way, won't he? And, I heard it on James O'Brien's programme this morning. Apparently he took a 747 from Stansted to Blackpool, and then back again.
Well, that
Whereas
makes sense.
He could have caught the train.
Or he could have just not gone at all. But, he's
Well,
just
yeah, I
desperate
mean-
to dive into his dressing-up box and make himself look like he's doing somebody else's job for a photo opportunity.
Exactly, yes.
If in doubt, get your photograph taken. Going, paw!
Doesn't
right.
make you want to throw up.
I think that's a pretty good summation there, Pete. Just makes you want to throw up. That is the body's reaction to anything it doesn't like. I was talking to Carol McGiffin about this on our Super Soar Away podcast.
Oh, right, yeah.
I saw an 8K television. Now, you've heard about 4K televisions, UHD, ultra high definition. Oh, they are fabulous. There's almost nothing to watch in 4K, but people they can't stock them fast enough. They're just flying off the shelves. But I've seen an 8K television in a top person's store, and it was massive. It was a sort of 6 foot high and 10 foot wide. It was absolutely huge, stupidly large. And I had to, and it was, I think it was showing, like somebody put a camera on the front of a roller coaster. And it's such a bizarre experience because your brain is telling you that what you're looking at is actually real, that you are on that roller coaster. It's so realistic, you can't actually look at it. Because your brain is telling you this is happening to you now, but it's also telling you that, hang on a minute, I'm getting no physical sensation, so it isn't happening to me. And the sort of dichotomy, the noise that is created in your mind makes you want to throw up. And I thought, I am going to throw up in Harrods right now if I don't stop looking at that screen. And throwing up in Harrods is against the law. 0345 6060 973. Oh, by the way, the podcast that I do with Carol McGiffin is a right laugh, and we just did 2 yesterday because she's going away on her holidays.
What?
Yeah, she's off on a luxury holiday. Oh, can only dream of having a luxury holiday. So she's going to be away for a couple of weeks, but we've got 2 in the can. One's coming out on Monday, and I can tell you they are funny. It's the hour in the week that I laugh more than any other. It's I don't know. There's just something about her and me. It just works. If you haven't heard it, it's called "What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol," in which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while laughing our faces off. We don't always solve people's problems. Not always. Or hardly ever, in fact. But we would like to have a bash at your issue if you care to send it to us. Send it to the following address. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? That's, it's nickandcarol@global.com. That's the email address. nickandcarol @global.com, and prepare for a certain amount of satisfaction.
Yeah.
And ask for the podcast by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol?
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us.
Very important call coming in Richmond from Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hey, how are you? Hope you're
Good.
well.
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, I was just calling to say you can use your 8K super high definition television to try and watch The Masked Singer. Because this week, shock horror, one of the contestants in the costumes pulled off their head, and it was Rudy Giuliani. And it's just crazy because we've had a week where, yeah, I know. Well, as soon as I saw it, I heard your what? And that screaming thing that you play. As soon as I see things in the week now, I just hear your little sound effects going off. Because imagine we've had a week of Whoopi Goldberg being cancelled for being racist and Rudy Giuliani being invited onto a show who is a racist. It's just a bit crazy.
Wait a minute, what
he
happened?
was on a musical show singing.
Back up. What happened to Whoopi Goldberg?
Oh, she said that the Holocaust wasn't about race, and so we're cancelling her, and we're uncancelling Rudy Giuliani this week because he's human now. So that's what's happened this week.
Right. Okay, that would only have been more surprising if he'd pulled his actual head off.
Well, only in America.
To reveal the shape-shifting reptile inside. I am stunned. All right, thanks for the bad news, Adam. The Masked Singer. If people, honestly, if you stop watching that stuff, they'll stop making it. I promise that's true. Jenny texts, oh no, I've read that. How's your tooth? Yeah, thanks a lot, Jenny, but I don't wish to be reminded. Hurts enough as it is. But you know me, I never complain. Have we got to the bottom of how much is a ream yet? Sanj texts, I think the best man for the job, if Bojo goes, is Marc Francois. We've seen one clown as an MP. Now let's see an even bigger clown take over. At least we can be sure that will be the end of the party, says Sanj. And she doesn't mean the end of the or he sexist. Doesn't mean the end of this kind of party. It means the end of the Conservative Party.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
International standards organisations define the ream as 500 identical sheets. This is an educational show, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, Marc Francois can take over. Captain Mannering can take over. He's fixing bayonets as we speak. Let's have a call in. I'll be totally fair about this. Who's been waiting the longest? Manchester. Hello, Dennis.
Hiya, Nick. One sec, mate. Yeah, hiya, Nick. Yeah, the situation with Boris Johnson is just an absolute joke.
Yes.
I mean, all the resignations that have been coming in and even the motions of no confidence that have been coming in tonight. I mean, Boris Johnson at the end of the day is just a serial liar. That's already been proven in Parliament. He's lied to Parliament on numerous times.
Right, I'm afraid you're going to have to leave, Dennis. You can lie in Parliament, but you're not allowed to say that somebody's lied in Parliament.
Exactly. It's a joke, Nick. He just needs to resign.
OK, that's another unsolicited testimonial. Thanks a lot, Dennis. Can I recommend a lozenge? 0345 6060 973. Simon texts, I'm a little confused. The government are giving us a £200 loan that we didn't ask for and then making us pay it back at 40 quid a year. But hang on a minute, they're actually sending the money direct to the energy companies and not to us to decide how we want to spend it. They're calling it a discount. You don't pay back discounts. Happy shareholder day. I don't know about you, but this seems like another dodgy scheme. Another dodgy scheme. Yes, fishy, in fact. Highly suspect. How much are the oil giants, the precious few companies that have actually taken over all of our business, how much are they making? I read it the other day. Like £900 profit a second? It's something like that. It's something absolutely preposterous like that. They're making £900 profit a second. And even if that's not actually true, it doesn't prevent it from being a fact.
Affirmative.
Jen says, it's all very well, Boris isn't doing very well. It's all very well, Boris isn't doing very well. Terrible start, Jen. I wonder if it gets better. Understatement of the year, she says, but has everyone forgotten who the alternative was? Oh my God. She's a whatabouterer. She says, I can't begin to imagine how Mr. Corbyn would have handled all this. And then there's an emoji which looks like I've got no idea. Stop communicating in cartoons, people. You're not 5. I can't begin to imagine how Mr. Corbyn would have handled all this. Considerably better, Jen. And the only reason that I can say that with confidence is that almost every other leader of a country in the world has done better than we have. So it's almost inconceivable that Corbyn would have done worse. I bet, for instance, that Jeremy Corbyn would not have wasted £37 billion on a phone app that doesn't work. How has it cost that much? Where has the money gone? Does anybody have a clue? I bet that Jeremy Corbyn would not have written £108 million cheques to people who are suspiciously in his orbit to provide medical equipment that they have no experience of, that turned out not to be usable, that we're paying £500,000 a day to store. Did you know that? £500,000 per day to store this medical equipment that we bought from people that have no experience in providing medical equipment. In fact, from people whose business had just been set up the day before and whose assets included and were limited to a desk and a phone and £5 in the bank. And suddenly, because they were on some minister's speed dial, on their Christmas card list, they get a cheque for £108 million to provide medical equipment that they have no experience of. I bet Jeremy Corbyn wouldn't have done that. I bet Jeremy Corbyn wouldn't have presided over the biggest excess death rate, coupled with the largest economic hit of practically any other country on earth, except for Russia, Brazil, and that's it. Maybe America, but they did economically better than we did. I think Russia and Brazil are the only two countries that did worse than we've done. I bet Jeremy Corbyn wouldn't have achieved that double-header. But you go ahead, Jen, and just assume that that all of the tabloids were right about Jeremy Corbyn. And then ask yourself why they engaged in the biggest smear campaign that anybody in this country has probably ever suffered. And wonder, perhaps, if it goes back to the pronouncement that Jeremy Corbyn made many, many years ago now, when he was asked about the ownership of a vanishingly few number of newspaper titles in the hands of offshore billionaire tax-efficient owners. And he said he would have to look at that. And from that moment on, they levelled their cannon at him and let him have it. Zach emails, I just heard you unzip something. If radio is theatre of the mind, my mind is boggling at the idea of what you're doing.
Disgusting.
I unzipped my my fleece, and because I've set the temperature in the studio at 24 degrees, balmy. The warm air is wafting over me, and I've got 3 layers of woolens on with a thick fleece on top. Absolutely blooming boiling in here. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
0345 6060 973. Let's have Oxford. Clark.
Hi there.
Hello there.
Hi there.
Hello there.
The first thing I want to say is I was really pissed off because I had a plan to recycle nappies as face masks, and I didn't get any money for it.
Well,
I mean, what's wrong with the Tories? Anyway, I want to go back to Jacob Rees-Mogg, if I may.
If you must.
Okay, so I'm neither left nor right in politics, but with Jacob Rees-Mogg, at least you can have a debate and a conversation. The problem with left-wing people these days is they start to insult you, and they don't want to hear that what you have to say if it's a different opinion to theirs. And that's a big problem with politics, with the polarization of it, and the deplatforming and all the rest of it.
You think his act of using excessive politeness as a weapon means that he's actually listening to what you say?
Listen, if he happens to be better educated and has a better command of English than other people, you don't knock him for it. I mean, I
am not knocking him for that. I don't know whether you're actually listening to what I'm saying, but I'm not knocking him for his vocabulary.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought you were. So what were you trying to say then?
Well, I refer you to the comments I made some moments ago. I'm not going to repeat my entire argument just because you weren't listening the first time. Zach, oh no, that's about the unzipping. I'll zip it up again in a moment, Zach. Just airing it out at the moment. Sheila texts, in defence of JRM, he does find food banks uplifting. Yes, exactly right. And then claims that he's guided by his faith. Look at his voting record. Almost always voted in favour of keeping the rich rich, and almost always voted in favour of keeping the poor poor. Yeah, that sounds like exactly what Jesus would do under the same circumstances. Poor huddled masses, not masses exactly, but people in small numbers, cramming themselves into dinghies, desperate to get to a place where they can feel safe. No, push them back out to sea, let them drown, because, that's what Jesus would want. 0345 6060 973. It's 11:30 on LBC. The news headlines with Serena Farrow.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking. Tony texts, if you can hear a theoretical physicist but can't see them, do they exist? Excellent question, Tony. Leave it with me. Latoya says, I did not realise that Fishy Sunak was another millionaire in the Conservative Party. We're all doomed if he becomes the next Prime Minister. You're wrong about that, Latoya. He's not a millionaire. He's a billionaire. And Andy says, at this rate, Boris Johnson could be the third Prime Minister in a row to be taken down by the actions of Boris Johnson. Get the Guinness Book of Records on the phone right now. There's so many texts and emails to get through. I'm never going to do it. How many pages? Like, just too many.